We have the Winged Dragon of Ra. We have Predaplant Branded, which is actually probably going to be one of the cooler lists that you're going to see here. And we have some very interesting takes on Trickstar for you guys today. Don't think 30% of you guys have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you can climb up the 100K ladder. So I opened up the thread on Facebook and said, hey, you guys got any cool ideas for new format? You know, you got any testing and things? And, you know, this is one of the more interesting lists that popped up. Now, if this is not something that you want to see in terms of competitive, there's a lot more competitive value in this video. So I just want to start off with the little Winged Dragon of Ra control deck, per se. Granted, the whole, you know, dimensional aspect of being able to tribute all of your opponent's monsters to basically produce a huge boss monster is actually kind of hilarious. Is it crazy consistent? Well, it's definitely something. So we have 2 copies of Astral Blossom and Joyous Spring, triple copies of Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. I guess you're going to need all those light points. You can probably replace this with something else. We have triple copies of Guardian Slime, 1 copy of the Hardened Armed Dragon. Honestly, the main thing you care about this is just being able to pass on the cannot be destroyed by card effects clause. We have 1, 2, 3 Ra's Disciple. Cannot be tributed except for the tribute summon of Slifer, Obelisk, or Ra. And you can also have some monsters the turn you do this effect except for Ra's Disciple. But hey, it basically just gives you additional support to get out the big Winged Dragon Ra. We have triple copies of Reactor Slime. Then we have triple copies of Tellus, the little angel. If this card is sent from the monster's zone to the graveyard, you can special summon a Tellus little wing token. While you control the wing token, banish this card from your graveyard, and 1 spell card, special summon 2 Tellus tokens, and you can special summon for this turn except from the hand. So they want to like restrict you in on what you can do with this, but hey, you know what, you can go ahead and do little shenanigans back here, I guess. We have 2 copies of the Winged Dragon Ra and triple copies of the Big Ball. We have triple copies of Ancient Chant. We have 1 copy of Blaze Cannon, 1 copy of Forbidden Droplet with 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Mound. We have 2 Prosperities, 1 Regeki, triple copies of Soul Crossing. Remember, Soul Crossing is going to be what we're going to consider the value train of this deck. All right, being able to tribute all of your opponent's stuff so you can basically set up a big monster is going to be absolutely awesome. We have triple Impermanent, and then we have 1 Metal Reflux Line. Down in the extract, we have 2 Almirage, 2 Link Karibo, 2 Link Spiders, triple Gustav, triple number 35. Probably should be playing a Zeus in here. Just want to point that out. And then we have triple copies of Egyptian God Slime here. Wrapping up, yes, ladies and gentlemen, a fun little, I guess, homage deck to Ra. Now let's get into the good stuff here. So this is Predaplant Albaz, or the good stuff as we're going to call it. There's been a lot of anticipation here. Yeah, to those of you that are like, Robbie, stop pushing Preda practice on us. A lot of the competitor player base is starting to talk about this right now. A lot of people, you've got fair warning if you want to pick up this deck, all right? A lot of people are already looking at this going, this might be it. So we have 2 copies of a Woober, 1 copy of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 1 copy of DD Crow. We have triple copies of Edge Imp Chain, 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz. See, I understand that people still want to play 1 of this for some weird reason, but play the 2 of it. We have 1 Ghost Bell, 2 copies of the Bulko Folukia. We have 2 Biblisp, triple copies of the Camouflage Doom, 1 Darling Cobra with triple copies of Ortho Scorpio. This is what we like to call the value machine. You know, the OCG has this limited. We don't. We get to just fully abuse this all we want. We have 1 Stay Sealer, and then we have triple copies of Branded Fusion, 1 copy of Branded in Red, triple copies of Branded Opening. We have triple Crossout Designator, triple copies of Frifer Patchwork, 1 Instant Fusion, 2 Poly, triple Prosperity. Then we have triple Preda Practice, 1 Super Poly, and then we have 1 Preda Planning here. All right, so that's going to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how we're constructing the main deck here. Down here in the extract, we have the 1 Garden Rose Maiden, 1 Trip Overdome, 2 copies of Draco's Depelia, 1 Camouflage, 1 copy of the new Fusion. This card is good. Trust me on this. We have 2 copies of Mirjade, 1 Masquerade, 1 Lubellion with 1 Chimera. We have triple Albion, and then we have 1 Alba Renitus. And then we have 1 Necro Banshee, 1 Big Rock, 2 copies of Token Collector, triple Forbidden Droplet, triple copies of Lightning Storm. Yes, this still kind of comes up. This is definitely one of those things that you're going to want to keep an eye on as you're playtesting. Like, you need this. Then we have one Zombie World, triple Dimension Barrier, and one copy of Red Reboot here. Wrapping up our Predaplant good stuff. Basically, this is, like I said, what you're going to be aiming here if you're trying to play the Predaplant heavier combo version of the deck. Trust me, once you start playing around with this build, you're going to be like, wow, this feels very good. Super Poly wrecks this deck, though. You're literally a big sad emoji if you get Super Poly. Next up is Trickstar Control. Now, a lot of people, once again, messing around with ideas of testing. I've seen a lot of people revisiting the whole Trickstar deck now because Light Stage moved back off the list. Personally, I think Light Stage could possibly move back at a later date, but hey man, when you got the whole Reincarnation, Droll, and Lockbird loop back, why not? Another little thing to consider is I would possibly give consideration to playing triple copies of the Reincarnation, just like as a little disclaimer here to start the video. I really do like this card a lot. Like, the games you can steal with the Droll Reincarnation shenanigans is pretty good. We have triple copies of Asher Blossom and Joy Spring. We have 2 copies of DD Crow. Triple copies of Droll and Lockbird. We have triple copies of Space Rock. We have triple copies of Candina. This is going to be your basic searcher. 2 copies of Coralbane for extending / starting. We have 1 Lilybell. 1 Lilybell is fine. We have triple copies of Licorice. 1 copy of Called by the Grave. 2 copies of Potted Desires. Triple copies of Scapegoat. Triple copies of Super Poly, 1 Terraforming, 2 copies of Light Stage, triple copies of Imperm, triple Rivalry, yes, this is going to be our effective Floodgate, I guess. And then we have 2 copies of Trickstar Reincarnation. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Underworld Goddess, 1 Trisbania, 1 Topological Bomber Dragon, 1 Saruja, 1 Lena, 1 Link Karibo with 1 Link Spider. We have 1 Nightmare Unicorn with 1 Nightmare Phoenix. We have 1 Nightmare Cerberus with 1 D-Hark, 1 Access Code, 1 Starving Venom, 1 Dragostapelia, and 1 Mudmud. And then down here we have 1 Scythe, 1 Pankratops, and 1 copy of Cordius. We're actually playing Cordius, a Synchro plus an XYZ plus a Link Monster. Now, I don't know how many times this is going to come up for you in terms of testing, but if it's coming up, I guess it's worth playing. We have triple copies of Lightning Storm, triple copies of Artifact Sanctum, triple Dimensional Barrier, and triple copies of Goes in Match here, wrapping up our first Trickstar list. Shout out to Scapegoat, though. Actually, I know a lot of players, since we're, revisiting this engine, Scapegoat giving this deck a little bit more cement value, I guess, feels a lot nicer. And there's nothing else really, too crazy to really say about this deck, but good job to Konami for allowing this deck to kind of get the chance to pick itself back up. I just wish we had 1 more Light Stage. That'd be nice. Next up here we have Trickstar Branded. This is something Akino's been playing with. This is going to be something that plans on taking to locals here in the near future. I will say that this is very hodgepodgey, kind of thrown together, but I understand that a lot of ideas can look that way, and they can be massively successful. That's just kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh! Works some days. So we have 1 copy of Ad Lidium of Despia, 2 copies of a Woober, 2 Tragedies, triple copies of Droll and Lockbird. We have 2 copies of Edgem Chain, 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz, triple copies of Trickstar Candina, triple copies of Licorice. We have triple copies of Branded Fusion, 2 copies of Branded in Red, of course, triple copies of Branded Opening. We have 1 Called by the Grave, triple copies of Fright for Patchwork, 2 Polymerizations, triple Prosperity, 1 Terraforming, 2 copies of Trickstar Reincarnation, 2 Light Stage and triple Reincarnation. You see, we're revisiting that. If you got 3 Light Stage, or 3 of the good cards, you may as well use them. We have 1 Crimson Heart, 2 Mirror Jades, triple Masquerade. Hey, I guess, setting up Masquerades and then burning your opponent through these effects, it's kind of hilarious. We have 2 copies of Lubellion, 2 copies of Guardian Chimera, 1 Cordartis, 1 Praskinian, and triple Albion. Side deck here, we have triple copies of the DD Crow Machine, 1 Necro Banshee with 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, triple Super Poly, 2 copies of Twin Twisters, 1 Zombie World, triple evenly matched in one copy of the Red Reboot machine here, wrapping up this chunk of deck profiles for you guys. Is there anything particularly interesting from here that you kind of want to pick up and mess around with? Because there's a lot of interesting things that are still moving in the background here for this format, and I really do want to see like some of the cool ideas that players will be messing around with here in the near future. But what do you guys think about these lists? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you're saying. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. And of course, if you guys have success with locals, things like that, feel free to send over the list on the MCO40 Facebook page via Messenger. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.